Thank you for taking 10 minutes for CNN Student News. We're glad to be part of your Thursday. First story we have is from Manhattan in New York City. Wednesday morning, a large explosion collapsed two buildings, a church and a piano store. Officials aren't certain why this happened, but a utility company said it got a call about a gas leak just after 9 a.m. New York's mayor says that was the only indication there was any danger. Dozens of firefighters arrived to search for survivors. At least two people were initially confirmed dead, but because some were severely injured and others were missing, the death toll may be higher. Natural gas doesn't have a smell. Utility companies add an odor to it so that people can detect a leak. If you ever think you smell it, calling the gas company or 911 is a good idea.
See if you can ID me. I'm a method of gathering information. I'm usually done online with help from the public. I've been used in crime investigations and the search for asteroids. I'm crowdsourcing, a way of getting info, often without paying for the help.
Crowdsourcing may be able to help in the search for a missing Malaysia Airlines plane. A company called Digital Globe has posted satellite images of the area online. Thousands of people are scouring them, trying to help. Malaysia Airways Flight 370 disappeared early Saturday morning. Less than an hour after takeoff from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, the plane's transponder was either turned off or it just stopped working. The transponder sends signals about altitude, location, and direction of a plane. There are conflicting reports from Malaysia's government about whether the plane turned and flew in another direction. Last night, a Chinese satellite image was released showing what might have been wreckage, but it couldn't be confirmed immediately. The search area is bigger than the state of West Virginia.
Look at what we know. Here's what we actually know about the situation there. If you look at it, the plane took off. We know that it left from down here and went up here, and that all the transponding stopped at about 1:30. That's really all we know. We were getting signals that there was a turn that was leading the plane this way, and then it was spotted by radar over here somewhere around an hour later. We know more about this right now. This wasn't some kind of tracking of it. We don't even know for sure that it did turn, because authorities are now saying that's not clear either. What we know is that there's a single radar reflection over here. Why does it have the word reflection in here? Because if the transponder is on the plane, when the radar pings the plane essentially answers back. It says, "Who are you?" And the plane says, "We are this Malaysian air flight." If the transponder is off, all the radar can do is say there's something out there. And this is what we're talking about. So this becomes very confusing as to whether this had anything to do with what was going on over here. But the result, boy, you cannot miss the result here, because the result is a sure thing here. Look at what happens to the search areas. They were focused right over in this area. Now they're having to add all this other territory out here, which just complicates it further and further, because every bit of that will now have to be searched a piece at a time. You'll have to grid it off the same way you would for any search and fly over each area until they eliminate each little cube to figure out where they're going.
The families of the missing are grieving. They're frustrated. They're tired of waiting for answers. Malaysian police are searching the home of the pilot. They're also questioning the friend of two Iranians who boarded the flight with stolen passports, though they're not believed to be terrorists. Still, finding the plane itself may be the only way to find out what exactly happened.
How could Malaysia Air Flight 370's transponder fail? The cockpit voice and flight data recorders will tell us.
It surprisingly looks kind of primitive. What does it do?
It essentially has an armored shell, and even within that there's what you might call an armored bathtub that houses the memory chips that record all the flight data.
The crucial last 30 minutes of conversation between the pilots is captured on one device. The aircraft's altitude, speed, direction, and hundreds of other parameters measured on the other.
On the front of the box, we see a radio beacon that allows the box to be located after a crash. This is housing the solid-state memory chips that are recording all the flight data. So that's the critical part of the unit that needs to be salvaged after an accident.
This so-called black box is an older but similar version of the Malaysian plane's recorders. The newer models are about half the size and collect more than 1,000 pieces of data. Which makes them so unique is their ability to survive just about anything.
The box is designed for impacts of over 3,400 Gs. This is about 7,000 times what would be a fatal car accident for a human. So incredible impact. In terms of temperature, it's designed to withstand temperatures over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit for short durations. So this would cover scenarios where it's sitting in the middle of burning jet fuel for an hour or so.
What is more likely critical for the Malaysian airline is the recorder's ability to withstand the tremendous pressure from the depths of the sea.
The technology has come a long way. Now, aircraft of this era, like this Boeing from 1954, didn't have flight data recorders. It was shortly after the start of the jet age that they became common. Aircraft like the Concorde, which had a major accident, benefit from the advanced technology.
But the problem is getting to the recorders fast enough to make them useful. The box emits a signal or beacon in fresh or salt water from as deep as 20,000 feet below. But the battery often runs out in just 30 days. For the Air France flight that went down in the Atlantic in 2009, it took searchers 2 years to find the data recorders because they were far from the wreckage.
East Coast, West Coast, and in between. It's time for the CNN Student News Roll Call. We'll start in Marco Island, Florida, home to the Eagles at Marco Island Charter Middle School. Good to see you. As we move across the country, we're taking roll in McAlester, Oklahoma. It's where the Buffaloes roam at McAlester High School. And in the Pacific Northwest, the suns are up. They're shining bright at Southridge High School in Kennewick, Washington. This Women's History Month, we're honoring people like Karen Taylor. She's doing something a lot of your English teachers do. She's giving young people a way to express themselves through creative writing. But the way she got there is a little different. Taylor was a sales executive laid off from her job who used her severance pay and savings to start Right Girl. It's a nonprofit organization to help teenagers in Los Angeles.
I blossom with each pen mark.
I found myself in the words, "Every girl has a story to tell."
Some of our girls are facing some of the greatest challenges teenagers could ever face. Pregnancy, incarceration, violence in their family, at school. Those girls need a mentor. They need to be inspired about their own voice.
Life in the light can be so bright, nothing can be so pure.
Writing and self-expression can give them a tool for moving forward.
Say something that nobody else has said before, because you have your own way of saying things.
We match underserved girls with professional women writers for mentoring and group workshops.
I want to match you, Krista, with Christy.
The moment you ask a young person, tell me about something you're passionate about, the writing and the ideas just flow.
You know what you're going to read today? I was kind of scared, like I'm really quiet and I keep to myself. But I met Emily and she's so excited and enthusiastic about writing and I absolutely love her. Writing gave me that position in life, like I'm a girl and I have a story to tell. Their senses are diluted by the sparkly things that cross their eye. Thank you.
We need to help girls see that their voice matters.
You've got a lot of good stuff here, and what I would like to hear more is about you.
To give a girl tools to be able to be positive and thrive and rise above whatever challenges she's facing, what's better than that?
We've seen a lot of cool basketball shots, some in games, some just because they're trick shots, and they're awesome. Thanks to YouTube, this is the first we've seen in golf. First dude chips it up, sets it up, second dude spikes it, or drives it, might have sliced it. First dude takes credit, says that was cool. That was cool. In golf, you're not allowed to hit the ball twice with one swing, but if two guys hit the ball with one swing each, they're part of a rare club. Their synergy is like iron. They put teamwork over cattiness, making lesser golfers green with envy. I know the puns are sometimes tough to put up with, but we always take a shot at ending on an up note. There'd be a hole in one show without them, and their fans would be really teed off. We're going to golf for now, but hope you'll make tea time for us again tomorrow.